We are just about moving into a very important phase in in the fact that we are coming up to a Zimar retreat, which starts in a few days. I even forgot it was so close, in fact. And there are many people who will be attending the retreat who have not been on a silent retreat before. So I felt it was important to, rather than just try and target them only, but to really bring everyone together and then to address some of the very important things for me about coming into this retreat. For myself, a retreat is not really different from anything else. Retreat is not any difficult. It's not any different from that. But for it seems for everybody else it is. Retreat actually it means to the highest meaning of a retreat is to remain inside your heart. That's what it really means. It's not the highest saying, it's not the highest thing, because the highest truth is that our self and heart is not different; they are synonymous. And although many people may understand that at an intellectual level, very few have realized it actually inside their heart, to the extent that the words to stay inside your heart itself become remote, because the fact is so self-evident. So let's begin there. It has been brought to my attention that even some people have approached different people within the close sangha, and with the feeling that they were very happy that so much was being provided at the retreat. And I heard that very keenly, because it seemed they were saying like there's lots of things to do. There's lots of yoga, laughing yoga, there's bhajans, there's fire ceremony, there's all. So wow. I always felt that these things were just to support your silence, but I see that in many cases it is really to give a buffer for the mind. It's to kind of give something for the mind to hold on to. And then I thought, oh, I better call everybody together. Let's talk about this. It is rare for a human being to experience any period of real silence. We're just not so familiar with that. Some quiet for a few moments. Somebody may sit and close their eyes for a few moments, and that's it for most people. But this is something very, very a rare gift, to be able to go and in some place where there are people like yourselves who are called by the same voice. To call you into your own Christ light or your Buddha nature, and to give you the space, such a supportive space, whereby you can come and you can somehow be immersed in that Buddha field, that energy field of satsang, and that removes the usual distraction and encounters which are so often to engage your attention and to relate to you merely at the personal level. So I don't feel that there's anything at all, actually, and certainly not in some communal way, that supports so intensely the urge to satisfy the urge for freedom. So it is already something very rare. Now, for most people, because it's not something that they've experienced before, initially it's a kind of novelty. Like, wow, we really don't talk. We eat together, we don't talk, and all this kind of stuff. In earlier times, it was very rare, almost impossible for people like yourself and myself to find a living teacher who could guide you all the way back to your own self. Ridiculous it seemed, because no, not guiding you. To guide you to go to Mount Yes is very easy. Or to go to Lisboa, or to go to India even. We can guide you to any place in India right from here, actually, I can tell you. But to guide you to yourself, that's something very, very rare. It's like, well, what? It doesn't even enter into the consciousness of most people. That, you know, what does that mean to guide you back to yourself? Partly because we are so, in some way, hypnotized by conditioning and the culture of ignorance, that something as profound as guiding the attention back into the heart seems like a stupidity, because people largely assume that they are already themselves. But it's the wrong self. We assume that we are our personalities and we are our upbringing and we are our bodies and so on. So this is also very rare, you know. And as I was saying, in earlier times, it would be very difficult to find. I know that in India, it was customary for a disciple, a seeker, to spend, if they were chosen, to spend 12 years at least at the feet of Master, and maybe for the first few years to do nothing but sweep the floor and make tea, just to work you in and to see how sincere you are and so on. And now everything is open, and it is consciousness's move, of course. No single person is responsible for that. It's a wave of consciousness to actually bring people, you know, by its own timing, by its own will, its own wisdom, to open up the gates so widely. But everything can come in, not come into the heart, but just come into the Buddha field of, you know, exploration or something like that. And very often there's a lot of craziness. There was craziness even back then also. But because perhaps of the rarity of having an opportunity to do this, then people did not take it so lightly. Here now, many people even travel across the world. I remember one time in Tuscany some years ago, having a retreat there. One man had traveled all the way from Orlando in Florida, I think, no? Florida? All the way. Came to Tuscany, up in the remote part of Tuscany. And as soon as he saw me, he fell in front of me and says, you know, thank you for bringing me home. And so it was all of that stuff. But as we began to go inside, you see, fear started to come for him. And then 3 days before the end of the retreat, he was taking off. And we asked him, you know, where are you going? It came to my attention. This man, I said, why is he leaving? Why are you leaving? You see? And he said, well, you know, it's always been a long dream of his to see the Colosseum in Rome. I said, what? You are leaving here to go and look at the pile of dead bricks or something? Yes, but you know, it's very important. What is all of this? Running. As soon as the ego senses the sword of truth, it's off. He's off. Now the challenge is to find out, are you this ego or not? You see? Are you this ego or not? You see? Because some blurring happens there, where the consciousness, somehow we've fallen for the story or for the idea that we are this person. Consciousness has painted a self-portrait of itself as a person and has fallen in love with its own work of art. And now it's time for the person to go or to be looked at. And it may seem that the person wants to stay, But the person doesn't exist. But we don't know that. We kind of say, haha, oh yes, it doesn't exist. But in your heart, you deny it. No? Because something has been mixed together, like a mixture of sand and sugar. We don't know which is which anymore. Satsang is to somehow to intensify your powers of discernment, so that like a wise ant, you will take the sugar and leave the sand untouched. You see. So as we come, there are people who have been here. We've been here for some time. We've spent time together. And it can also, ego loves these people also. It says, oh, we've been around Mooji a long time. We can always tell even what he's going to say. Or, we are residents in Sahaja. You're only tourist. But to me, it makes no difference. It makes no difference. Each one is taken to be consciousness that somehow has fallen under the spell of its own projections and must wake up out of this dream, sometimes nightmare also. When I came here for no other reason than this. When we came to this land, I fell in love with it, but it was not for me. If I want some space, you see where I live. I live in a hut. It's enough. It's abundance for me. I don't need to live, you see, on 30 hectares of land. A little hut, someplace quiet is good for me. It is for this, to make it available for those who are really earnest in the heart for truth. And no other than that, actually. So although people may come and write beautiful letters and come and say, yes, we've come for this, and I see that your attention is diverted to other things, we give you a chance, because in the beginning, for the first few days, while you're defrosting from the coldness of the egoic state, we know that there will be rebelliousness, there will be the fear to stay and the urge to run, but you are supported here. We trust the one that brought you here is taking care of you. Stay here. You need not stay long. You only need to be earnest and to be open. Earnestness will win the day. It is not about how long you stay. Sometimes you stay long, you go to sleep. So those who are with me for periods of time and who are working, you have to work hard when you're here. But at the same time, you're totally in your satsang. It's not satsang or work. There's no difference. And those of us who have come, many from the city, we have come here, and at first, we had to learn very, very quickly here. This land is also giving satsang in many ways, practical ways. You see? So, I just want to remind you, I don't know who will hear it inside the heart. Take your chance. Take your chance. I don't know how deeply you feel the opportunity. I feel Mante Sahaja, is perhaps one of the most auspicious places now on the planet. I would say this. Of course, people say, oh, you expect you to say that. No, I don't expect to say that. I don't expect to say that. I'm finding myself saying this because it is so fiercely focused. Not on some spiritual fantasy. Those who have been here for a while, they know. We are sometimes living for a few years together. I know nothing about your family history or your history. I don't know the name of your children or you have sons and daughters. I find out, by the way, as we go. But these things are not important. And yet, without them, there is immense love flowing between us. Enough, full power, strength, you see. Of course, nonsense will come. Nonsense will come. As long as you have this thing. It came in the Garden of Eden, it comes. those of you who I feel are privileged to work inside the team of the Sangha team, yes, sometimes the work is very, I don't want to say demanding even, because when you're in your heart, nothing is so demanding. When you're in your heart, I'm using when as if I should not even speak like that anymore. When you don't allow distractions, you feel support for unseen power. Unexpected support comes to facilitate actions which are true. And you will notice and draw tremendous confidence and encouragement from that. When you're with your mind, everything is sludge-like, strenuous, tiring. These simple things you begin to discover the real beauty of existence. To live without your person, you see, is freedom. I see that sometimes, I mean, even recent times, I see little noise creeping in, little sound creeping in. Coming up to retreats, and there's a lot to do, of course, there's a lot of things to do to prepare. Because a lot of energy goes, a tremendous amount of energy and loving service go, to make the time of others who are coming for the retreat, to make their time supportive and quiet. So they don't have to do anything. You're going to do everything, almost, for practical things. And yet, the same chance you will have, the same power you must find. That there's no excuse for what we have to do. You say, oh yes, we had a lesser satsang because we had to do this. No, you are full of satsang, sometimes stronger satsang also. And I noticed, and it's been brought also to my attention, that even in the office, as we are coming close, it happens each time. This buzz comes, a kind of electricity. Yes, it may come, but you don't go. You stay put. A mature one in the spirit don't talk about these things. Oh, there's so much and all these things happening, and you don't talk about those things. They are small things. You should not be here, and after even after 2-3 weeks, you should not be able to talk about those things. Because it need not take so long, at least to catch hold of the essential pointing and to recognize it in your own heart as your own truth. It should not take long. It will take time for the habits to gradually just be worn out, and for the mind to stabilize inside the heart. But you have already crossed over to some extent, if you've really heard it inside yourself. We know that there are many people also who have come, and they've come early, and are staying in MSB, Mooji Sangha Bhavan, and at Marvilas, and at some of the friends, and so on, that we did not even know that they were here. People come. And sometimes some noisiness come with them. If you are coming here and you have come for the retreat and you're here, don't let anybody, including any member of Sangha, distract you from what you're here for. Because even people within the Sangha will distract you. You're coming into also a silent retreat. It's a privilege to come. You see, it's a privilege to come. In future, I feel we will make some, it will come to some point where I will interview people who apply to come and retreat. Because I don't want time wasters here. It's not your money I want. Your money is necessary to make sure that we can have a retreat in good places and in a supportive environment and so on. It's not this we want. But people who have the right attitude, the right spirit, who I know that they will stand a great chance of breaking out of the spell of this arrogance and ignorance. There are some people who go on retreat and they really suffer. Their egos suffer. Their heart never suffer. The heart never suffers. Ego suffer. Mind suffer. Because they realize how much they need people. They need attention. They need contact. They need to feel and to touch and to be seen and to be accepted and to be reassured and to reassure other people. And they have this thing. At least it comes up. And it might feel terrible for you. But you go, or you come, because of your connection with me. Don't worry about what other people are doing. You come for this. Most people never knew anybody else before they came. So when you come, leave all things aside. I remember sometimes we used to watch sometimes martial arts or boxing or something. Some of these boxers, they train together. They are friends. They go and eat in each other's houses. But when it comes to ring time, we don't know each other. Because I may have to hurt you. And I don't want to be thinking about your children and all of this type of thing. We're going inside only here. So I cut everything loose from me so that I go here naked. Then somehow my energies are set free. Then you have to be like this. Not just for we don't have a ring fight here. But when you come in a place that's going to test your ability, you see, because you will be tested. Everybody will be tested. You have to be tested. Because you say many things. We say many things with our mouth that we deny in our actions. So life will test you. This waking state and its movements, they are here to test out the truth you claim that you know. To see if you taste as good as you look or sound. So all of this is good. All of this is in service to the truth. And many of you started talking about it yesterday. That with some of you, you've added very, very, very easy. You say, oh, sometimes my mind comes. I said, please shut up. That's just so small a thing. It's big because you big it up in your head. But for some of you who have been around for a while now, you should be so firm inside. But there are some people that they attract unkindness. Because life somehow has to show you, stop being falsely humble. You see, stand up to the blows. Stand up for yourself. Don't always wish or hope somebody will come and defend you. Here you have to fight. And if you have to fight a lion, you see, and you look and you're standing there skinny in your pants, you have to fight a lion, and you feel, oh my God, I stand no chance, Punch him in the eye or something. Punch him on the nose. Don't let him just eat you up. Like, you have to fight. To show your strength sometimes. You have to do it. You will be true. You don't have to use any spiritual word. But you draw on the truth that you have somehow discovered in your heart here. Because there's no place for shyness on the battlefield. You have to stand up and defeat. What is the enemy? The enemy actually doesn't really exist. It's in your mind, and you have to transcend him. Rather than live with him, because you can come into a place like this and live for years, dodging. So why are you here? Why are you here? No? So after this emerged, because it was not planned, I felt very happy. I felt this is very happy. I'm very happy. The self has no favorite moments. So, your retreat begins today. It's still a bit late. In your heart, your retreat should begin today. Now you can talk a bit between, you just have to do this and so on. Necessary conversations. But don't be swallowed up by no buzz. No buzz. Don't talk about buzz. Buzz is for mosquitoes and bees. You don't want buzz, some buzz. You should be established in your heart and move with that integrity. Someone who has a bit of experience should meet you and have a good sense you have been at Mantisahaja. Not fluttering, flapping about like some fish out of water. I hope I've covered what's my heart. Those of you who are coming on the retreat, and for me, everybody is coming on the retreat. If you're staying here, a number of people are going to be staying here, perhaps more this time than at any time, be staying back, because we are working here. Work is going on here. You are 100% in the retreat also. It is being broadcasted here, but even if it was not, you are 100% in your retreat. Don't fail. And don't let anybody sabotage your opportunity for freedom. Don't let anybody, not even an angel, sabotage your opportunity for freedom. In fact, don't think freedom is ahead of you. In fact, you should be already thinking and being free. Freedom is not an event. The realization of the self is not an event at all. It's not something that's going to happen. If something is going to happen, is the recognition of what is timelessly here. What is timelessly here is not going to happen, but your mind is going to recognize it so profoundly that mind is not separate or mind anymore. Then mind and heart are one. Now you may think this is a bit tall for me, I don't know if I'm ready and all of this thing. You must at least begin to discern what comes from your mind, what comes from your heart. Nearly everything comes from your mind. When your heart sends a message to your mind, this message is coming from God. And it's coming to the mind because you have adopted mind and personality as what you are. And for a while, of course, it is the game of life to play like this. And gradually, somehow, as you wake up from this sleep of ignorance, the duality will cease in you. It is not that you look at an apple and it will look like an orange. It's not going to be like that. Let the apple be the apple and the orange be the orange. But all this will be superficial to you.